All right, joining me now once again, the co-host of the Succotash and Anti-Social Show, Tyson Sainer. What's going on, man? Oh, the Anti-Social Show.
Yeah, I
Sure.
got the logo on my shirt.
Hey, how's Hunter been? He's been hiding from me, it seems.
As far as I know, he's doing okay. Um,
Yeah. You
we like
heard
to having you on
you
the
heard-
show. Sorry.
you heard from him lately? Besides, obviously the co-hosting, like you heard from him lately?
Oh yeah, we stay in touch even though we don't record. You know,
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, you guys don't record much. What's going on with that? Is that coming back?
it is. It's kind of a. So what's happening is I've got a bunch of shows that are in the archive that have video versions of them because I've been releasing video versions for YouTube, and so I'm backed up about I don't know, like 25 episodes or something. All I have
Mm-hmm.
to do is render them and post them, but it's there's other stuff that I got to do too. So juggling that has been difficult. But I'm going to be
Trust.
having another one come out soon. So
There you go. There you go. And Succotash, I heard about a hiatus. Is that correct?
yes, that is. We are going
Mm.
on a hiatus for a few months, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do next. We might be just doing more succotash, or we might do something different with the same people. Hard to say.
Oh, okay, okay.
But we've been doing
Well,
it for 12 years.
happy, yeah, 12th anniversary. You beat me to it. I was gonna wish,
Oh,
happy 12th anniversary.
thank you.
That's
Thank you so much.
huge. That is huge.
Yeah, I mean it's something.
It's something. It's something. All right, well, let's just get to today's subject, Mortal Kombat.
All right.
1992
Mm-hmm,
Midway.
mm-hmm.
Oh man, I remember the game like it was yesterday, bro. Like
I
Super
do too.
Nintendo, PlayStation,
Mm-hmm.
like oh man.
I
I used to be Kano and like Sub-Zero and you know. What
oh
about
sure.
you? How far do you go back with it?
To the arcade. In
Yeah.
1992, yeah. Well, let's see. So the year after I graduated high school, I graduated in 1992, the year it came out. I
Hmm.
decided to take a year off from school before going to college for a little bit. And I worked at a pizzeria that was kind of local, and they had a little nook that had video games in it, and they had a Mortal Kombat machine, and that was the first time I saw that thing, and it was pretty popular, that one little game, you know.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
so
it's like, what are all these buttons? It's like six buttons here.
how often would you play?
Um, Not terribly often, but I played enough to know that it was probably a good idea to wait until the home console version came out so that I could practice.
Was there a game like that before? It was like it was a one of a kind, right? First game really just straight
Uh,
up mano y mano.
oh, well, yeah, I don't know if it predated Street Fighter or not. It's hard to say,
Well,
but like,
I was going to
was
mention the quote later in the podcast, but I pulled a 2014 quote from a martial artist, Frankie Edgar. He actually said Mortal Kombat's better than Street Fighter. Huh? Do you
sure.
think do you agree with Frankie?
Well, I've certainly played one of them more. I've barely played Street Fighter.
I'll take that as an agreement with Frankie.
Okay.
It's better than Street Fighter.
Now, there are as far as speaking of Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, as far as other arcade fighting games go from around that same time period, are the ones that you also did you play
What
any
was
of
it?
those?
Double Dragon? I guess
Oh
it's
yeah,
not really fighting, but like it was kind of.
that's a
You would,
side-scrolling brawler.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That game was awesome,
It
bro.
was fun. Yeah,
You play the guy and his brother or whatever. I don't even know what the game was about. I was just like going through it and like killing people.
that's basically it. Yeah, it was basically guy and his brother. Their one of their girlfriends gets kidnapped, and then you have to.
I don't know.
Oh,
I thought it was cool.
by the way, she doesn't just get kidnapped. She gets punched in the stomach and kidnapped. It's
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
crazy. It's a wild
I
opening
used to play
animation.
that game. I used to play that game crazy. Times aren't the same anymore. Games are crazier.
Mhm.
Do you play the Xbox
Yes,
currently or
I do. I
yeah?
play. In fact, I have the latest iterate. Well, maybe not the very latest, but I have Mortal Kombat 11 on my
Well,
on our Xbox One.
12 is coming out this year in the fall, I believe.
Cool.
So give me a comparison of what it is now compared to what it is back then. Like, what are the main differences? Obviously, besides the graphics.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, so
I'm
in the
talking about
beginning,
like
hmm,
IQ, like intellectual, properties. Like what's the difference? Like is it just the storyline is fast forwarded?
Well, aside from the graphical update, yeah, the storyline, it's hard to say. I haven't actually paid attention to the storyline since Mortal Kombat versus DC, which I think was like the eighth entry. So that was when they integrated characters from the DC universe, and then, and then
Hmm.
the big remake of the main game was like right after that, and at that point, I for some reason I just wasn't paying attention to the story. Now I had been paying attention to them so far, but there's just so much lore in there. There's so
Hmm.
many various things. So let's see. The fatalities are more brutal, like so much, and it much like well in the film.
Yeah.
There's a larger cast of characters. It's kind of like how Super Smash Brothers just kind of just keeps adding characters to it from various Nintendo things. Well,
Right.
Mortal
Right.
Kombat adds like Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger and
Really?
characters like that. Yeah, I think the Terminator is a character that you can play.
No
That's
shit.
Arnold as the Terminator, and then like yeah, and I think a Xenomorph from
I
the
need to
Alien
get. I need to
franchise.
get back into it.
It's crazy. It's craziness. It's at that
Who's
point,
your
it's like,
favorite? Who's your favorite character? Like
I mean,
original character?
yeah, I'm pretty basic. I like Liu Kang because
Liu
Liu Kang was
Kang.
probably the first
He
person
was
I was able to
awesome.
beat Goro with. And Goro was tough, but Liu Kang
Yeah.
has that quick that thing where he flies across the screen. He's got
Yeah.
projectile attacks and he's got a great kick. And not I could never do the bicycle kick though. I just
Yeah.
couldn't
I
do it.
played. I played as Kano, Shao Kahn,
Mm.
and Sub
Oh yeah.
Zero a lot.
How were you at Sub Zero? Because
I
he
was
had that
okay. My brother was better, but we would always go back. We would have tournaments. I was like 13 or whatever, and we would have Mortal Kombat tournaments.
mm,
We
for the
would have
fate of
tournaments.
Earthrealm.
We would have tournaments in like in every game. You know, when you have like the neighborhood kids, we'd
Mm-hmm.
have we'd have someone write up like a bracket.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and we would just play. It didn't matter what it was. We had a basketball, like real basketball tournament. We would play. We would do tournament in everything. I mean, that's what kids do.
Oh sure, I
And
guess.
then I would always, sometimes I would win the tournaments, but most of the time I'd be like in the middle of the pack. And Mortal Kombat was one of those times. I mean, I wouldn't get last, but I wouldn't get first either. I was like
Yeah,
right in the middle.
it's it was kind of challenging everybody wanted to pull off those fatalities.
Right, right,
Do
right,
you remember
right.
the first time you pulled off that you did a fatality? Assuming that you haven't done at least one, I imagine.
No, I have. I do not remember. I haven't played Mortal Kombat in, God, you're asking me to go back in the memory banks like 20 years, bro.
Right. Well, yeah, the game itself. I mean, it's over 30 years old
I
now. So
haven't, no, I can't remember the first time. I know it was probably Sub Zero with the ice and froze him and then did whatever move.
yeah, probably uppercut or whatever and shatter them.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
probably some basic shit from my boy Sub Zero.
yeah, he's pretty much the ice guy.
So what
Um,
about females? It was finish her back then too. Who was
yeah.
the females?
Well, let's see. There was Sonya Blade,
Yeah, okay.
Sonya, and then there was Melina and
That name rings a bell. Yeah,
So Melina and Kitana, they were kind of
Katana.
like,
That's another. That's those are the main two or main three, right?
yeah, I believe Melina is
Yeah,
a clone
Katana.
of Kitana or something, and she's got a messed up like Baraka style mouth. You remember
Hmm.
Baraka?
Vaguely. Rocka's like that mate, like that crazy arms.
Yeah, he's got the blades that come out of his
Yeah, but
arms.
I thought there was like, yeah, I thought there was a bunch of arms. No,
No, that's
maybe not.
Kintaro, and
Yeah,
Kintaro is
I
like
don't know,
Goro,
man.
except
It's
he was tiger
like
striped. Sorry.
foreign language to me. All those names.
I mean, this is just how my brain works. This stuff goes in and it never
That's why I
comes out.
got you on the podcast for this.
I mean,
This is
thank you.
good. This is
This
good.
is this is where I
So,
feel useful. So thank you. I appreciate it.
what I hear is that Johnny Cage was an homage to Jean-Claude Van Damme. Is that correct?
uh-huh.
Did I read that right?
That is my understanding is originally they wanted to build a game around John Claude Van Damme, but
Hmm.
he wasn't available. They're like, oh, that'd
He
be really
wasn't
cool.
available.
No,
How's
I
it?
mean, like, let's see, what happened?
You
Yeah,
got?
it
Do
just
you know the
says,
story behind that?
on Wikipedia it just says the idea fell through, so they developed a science fantasy themed fighting game instead. And then, of course, they still pay homage to him by creating a character very much like him, and that's Johnny Cage.
Yeah,
Sp-
yeah, yeah.
Specifically because he can do this.
You there? I think I lost you, Tyson.
do the splits, and
Tyson, I
I
think I
am.
lost you for a
Oh yeah,
second.
you did freeze for a second.
Well,
I'm
was it
here.
me or was it you? Because on my end, you
I don't know.
froze.
And at my end, you froze.
That was funny. Well, maybe we're talking about
So it's like, oh,
Sub-Zero.
and you
That's
froze
on
again.
purpose. Yeah, we freeze each other. Hold on. No, it is me. It is me. It says my connection's unstable. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, that's weird. My internet's unstable. That's weird. Maybe we're
Well,
talking about Mortal Kombat. That's what's making it unstable.
it's the elder gods. They're angry.
And that's why we froze is because we were talking about Sub-Zero.
Could.
Anyways. Yeah,
I see what you did there.
yeah, yeah. What continue with what you were talking about.
Jean Claude Van Damme. Oh, the
Yeah.
splits, because he could do the splits, and Johnny Cage does the splits. Except Johnny Cage combines the splits with the nut punch.
Hmm. Yeah,
Which,
so
for those of you who don't know out there, it's when somebody plants their fist into your groin at a rapid rate.
mhm.
Yeah,
Well, did you
no,
know that
everybody's sorry. Yeah,
Sub-Zero had there was a game, let's see, Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero?
I
Did
did.
did
Yeah,
you know that?
I did. I actually tried playing it at least once. It was on the Nintendo 64.
It was the prequel to the fourth, you know, to
Yes,
MK4.
yes,
I
yes.
think I remember playing it once.
Both on PS1
Sub-Zero is
and
my
N64.
favorite. Sub-Zero is my favorite.
Favorite character?
Yeah, awesome.
I also like. Actually like Scorpion because he's got that spear.
Well, we're gonna talk about that at the end when you give your movie review.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw the clip. I don't want no spoilers, no spoilers, but I saw the battle between was it Scorpion and Sub-Zero?
Oh, did you?
We
Cool.
don't want to we don't want to spoil it, but
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
but
No.
I did see that clip. But we're gonna wait to the end of the podcast for the official Tyson Saner Mortal Kombat movie review. I'm
Okay.
looking forward to this
I'll think
because
about it.
I did not watch it just so I could be riveted by your review. I didn't want to supersede you, Tyson.
Okay. I really wasn't sure how we were going to approach this. So let me ask: did you have you seen the original film?
I think I did. Yeah, I think
Okay.
I did, but it's been a while.
I saw it in the theater when it came out.
Wow.
Yeah.
What
Yes.
that tells everybody how experienced you are with video games and movies.
Yeah. I mean, I was looking forward to it. I was kind of like, how are they going to turn this R-rated game into a PG-13 rated movie?
Yeah.
But I don't want to go into that too
Yeah,
much now
yeah,
because we're
yeah.
not doing movies.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about more of the characters. So, what are some characters that you think should have gotten more like play from people, like that are kind of not respect? You know what I'm trying to say? Like kind of the
Hmm.
underrated characters. Is there some that
Underrated.
people don't talk about enough? Like I have a
You
few.
know, okay, it's because it's actually really hard for me to know who.
I think Kano, one of my favorites. You don't hear about that about
Yeah, I guess
Kano.
people like. I definitely played. Kano might have been my first ability to do a fatality because I mean, and
Yeah.
by the way, this is back when if you didn't know how to do it, you had to go on the non-existent internet, which is basically a series of message boards, and then somebody
Mm-hmm.
maybe had a bunch of Mortal Kombat moves, and then you'd have to practice them. So I did. I think it was like forward punch. That was his
Yeah.
fatality. You had to do it right after it does, and then he
That is one of
does the
the
heart rip
That is, yeah, I believe it was that one and Sub-Zero, probably my first two fatalities.
or down punch. It was like one of those. I don't know. I'm
So do
not
you have
sure.
another character that you think is underrated?
I kind of like Stryker.
Hmm.
He's the cop, and he's got this like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
insane like thing he does with his baton where he like kind of
Hmm.
like leaps across the screen and kind of slides and does this hooking thing, and like it's a good sort of like a good move. And plus he has grenades. He throws
Hmm.
out grenades. I also like the which robot is it? It's not smoke. It's so there's the red robot ninja and the yellow robot ninja. And the red one
Ah,
is it Cyrax? Is it Cyrax the
Cyrax,
red one?
Cyrax, Cyrax is red. Yeah.
Okay, and the yellow one is. I used to know this. I used to like know these so well, but I can't remember. But we'd call them mustard and ketchup because of their colors.
Yeah.
And then
So,
there was Noob Saibot. Ooh, Noob Saibot was kind of cool.
so about Mortal Kombat itself, what do you think was innovative behind it?
Well, definitely the digitized sprites, like the sort of photorealistic
Mm.
animation on the characters. That was I don't know if it was before Pit Fighter, but it was probably a better utilization because Pit Fighter also had digitized characters like photos and poses. Um, and it was just no. I don't think any game really looked like that. I'm gonna have to check on Pit Fighter, but it was like right around that time. There was it looked it looked like you were fighting a game with people. You
Mm.
know,
Yeah, yeah.
back then. It was the closest thing because it wasn't animation. It
Right.
wasn't and it wasn't fluid like you and I are moving. It's not 24 frames. It's not 24 frames per second, but
Hmm.
it was enough to where it was like I'm fighting with pictures of people or like things that look like people.
Yeah.
And then like the animations on it, not the characters, but they're like there's I don't know, the spells or their abilities by contrast were like kind of goofy looking. Like Sonya had that ring thing where
Sonya, yeah.
she'd shoot the pink rings, and
Hmm.
that just looked like
Who was the character
cartoon
with
pink
like the
rings.
6 arms? Who was the character with like the 6 arms?
Six arms. Was
Not
that
six arms, but yeah, yeah. Starts with the
Shiva?
S. Yeah, Shiva. Yeah, that was another one.
She
That
was
was
crazy looking. Yeah,
awesome. That was
she had
awesome.
she had the great like
I would
hair.
play as
Yeah.
her. I would play as her sometimes. It was it was yeah, it was that Kano, Shao Kahn played as Liu Kang. Everyone played Liu Kang. That's why I tried to play with different characters. Because every time I would play like in one of those tournaments I was talking about,
Mm-hmm.
somebody would always get Liu Kang. And how we would do it was you picked a character. We couldn't do Liu Kang versus Liu Kang. You'd have to pick your own character. So
Oh,
and
interesting.
we would do a draft like out of a hat.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and we would pull names out of the hat, our own names, and then there was like a draft. We would all put our names in the hat, and then we would pull names out, and then they would pick their character for the tournament.
So
It
you
was
do
pretty
like a
cool actually,
yeah, you get to
because it
like
was like first pick.
eliminations and things. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
So Liu Kang, like, there's did you ever play the Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance?
I think twice. My buddy had it.
That was the one that was made for the first one that was made for consoles specifically, not ported as started as an
Hmm.
arcade game, but became it
I
was
know
it
Mortal
debuted on
Kombat.
console.
I know Mortal Kombat 3 was like the one I played the most. Like
Oh yeah, that was pretty cool. And then
that was
Ultimate
like
Mortal Kombat.
so popular. That was like so. My buddy was like, "Oh, did you get Mortal Kombat 3 yet? Did you get it for the P?" It was like PS2 or something. It was
Was Mortal Kombat 3?
wasn't it
Um,
Mortal Kombat 3 PS2?
Probably. Let's see. Mortal Kombat 3 was no. So more. Well, I mean, eventually they
Did it get
released
on?
a
Did it get on
collection.
PS2? It probably did.
Probably did. Yeah. Let's see. It was a Mortal Kombat 3, and it was probably eventually ported. It started, of course, in the
Mortal
arcade,
Kombat
but
3
they
PS2.
yeah. So it was sold. There was Mortal Kombat trilogy, and it has like these
Yeah,
games.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And play Mortal Kombat
I,
Armageddon. Yeah,
oh yeah, I played Armageddon. Armageddon was after it
that
went.
was another one.
Deadly Alliance, Deception, and then Armageddon. And both Deception and Armageddon had like open world story modes where you
Mm.
played as a different character and you went to the different realms. That was pretty cool. But like
PlayStation 1 was regular PlayStation had Mortal Kombat 3. That's what it
yes,
was.
yes
Yeah.
it did, and Ultimate Mortal Kombat or Mortal
Yeah.
Kombat trilogy.
Mortal Kombat and Mortal Kombat 5. I remember that one.
Well, five was Deadly. Was Deadly
Yeah.
Alliance. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
that one was a definite upgrade from like because it had like two fighting styles and a weapon style, and you could switch
Mhm.
between them, and the animation was really good on those. Plus, Liu Kang was dead in that game, so there was a zombie Liu Kang you could play as.
So how did the game get you think the game got more complex as they kept going?
After a fashion, yeah. Like basically, if you could play Mortal Kombat 1, and
Mm.
then if you could play any of the characters from the original three games, you could play any of the ones they chose except for the new characters for Mortal Kombat 4 because
Oh,
the
that's cool.
moveset was same. So like if you know the forward kick for Liu Kang is
Hmm.
always forward kick, and then whatever his other things.
Everyone was Liu Kang. Liu Kang's the most popular one, at least was when I was playing.
Oh yeah, I mean he was fun to play, and
Who's
he
the
was
most
was
popular
quick.
one you think? Johnny Cage, obviously.
I think
And
Johnny
then
Cage thinks he's the most popular. I
who
mean,
do you think is the most popular character?
I think probably Liu Kang. Liu Kang is probably the most popular. I mean, they decided to like he's the main focus of the movie as well. He's like the central
Main
character.
hero. He's like the main hero.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of the three main heroes, he's the most main of the main heroes.
He's the most main of the main of the main.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's the
exactly.
main.
The main the main main.
Main man. Da, 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 da.
Yeah,
Mortal Kombat.
so all right. So let's talk about the movie. The movies. 1995 was the first one.
1995. I was 21 years old.
Yeah. Do
Saw
you
it saw it in the theater.
you said that,
I did
and
say that.
was it like, was it packed? Was there a lot of people? Was it the premiere?
It was not packed, but it was also definitely not empty. It was a
Where are
fair
you?
amount of
Where are
people.
you? You're in California, right? For those
I
that,
am.
yeah.
So I must have seen it in Eureka at the Bayshore Mall. I'm thinking that sounds about right. And for the local people that will know what that is, because the theater doesn't exist there anymore. The movie theater doesn't. Now it's in Ulta, but it was there for a long time. Anyway, I saw it with the crowd was definitely in the mood for the movie. In fact, every time something epic or interesting or fun would happen, somebody in the crowd, not far from where I was sitting, would say, "Yeah, buddy." So like Scorpion goes, and his hand opens up, and the thing just sits there like it's about to shoot out, and you hear the person go, "Yeah, buddy." Sub Zero freezes somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
And
And
then
it's
there
just
was the sequel in 1997. Did you go see that one too?
I did not see that one. In fact, I didn't. I didn't see it immediately. It was there were several copies of it at the video store that I worked at the time, and it took me a
Hmm.
while to see it because I was like, "Hey, I didn't know there was a sequel." And then they're like, "It's not very good." And I was like, "Okay, I'll just put that back." So, other things to do with my time. I did eventually see it, but I didn't see it like right away. I just kind of fell off at that point.
Hmm.
Um, but I have since seen it, and yeah, it's not as good, but it's not that bad. It's worth a look. It's definitely worth a look. I think they probably missed an opportunity to do a third
Can you
one.
give a non-spoiler review of the second one? Because I assume most people have seen the first.
Non-spoiler review.
Yeah, like of the second one. Like, do you remember way back then what happened in the second one?
So I can say Shao Kahn is in it, but that's kind of a spoiler.
I
Maybe,
mean,
or you can bleep
is
that if you
it?
don't like it. I don't know. Is it? I think it was Brian.
This was like Tyson. This was 26 years ago. Okay, I don't think.
Well, you're the one who wanted me to do a spoiler free.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think that's a spoiler. Who the
Well,
character that's in it?
so what would be it? So okay, I'll tell you what. Can
The
you?
ending.
Oh, the ending. Oh God, I don't remember how it ends. I didn't. I mean, I'm guessing Earth didn't get destroyed. Spoilers.
No, the ending would be the spoiler. But
Okay.
it's
Um.
also, one of my favorites, the original one. But I can't tell you how that ends either. So,
Oh, I can tell you how the original one ends.
okay, how's the original one?
The original one ends on a cliffhanger.
Yeah,
Is
there you go. There's a good answer.
Yeah, because they get off
So,
of the island and then Shao Kahn appears and says, "Earth belongs to me" or something, and Raiden says, "I don't think so." And then they
yeah,
all go,
Raiden, I
"Ha!"
remember
And then the music goes dun dun dun
that.
dun 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 credits.
Yeah, I use that as the you see the story I did on Instagram?
I
They
saw
got
it, but I
like the arcade, they got like the arcade version of the song. I like that.
oh, that's awesome. I saw it, but I didn't hear it. I just
So,
looked at it.
did you watch any of the television series?
Was
There
that
was
Mortal
two of
Kombat
them.
Legacy? Oh, there
Yeah,
were. So no, I'll say no. I didn't.
they had the television series. There was two of them after the second movie, like in 90, like in 98, 99.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy cow! That long ago.
You have to watch them. Let me see if
I
I can't look them up real quick.
I am interested.
Let's see. It says television
Yes.
series. Yeah. Let's see. I know there was, I know it was in, I know, of course, it was filmed in Orlando. Everything was. I knew that back then.
I will say I have owned most of the Mortal Kombat
Mortal
games.
Kombat Conquest, 1998. I got it right here. Let's see if
Cool.
I can.
Oh, you know
Oh,
what?
I already tried this. I don't want to.
They probably did it for TV because the second movie didn't do that well, and they were probably going to make a third movie, but they're like, oh, let's do TV because back then, TV was still kind of like, you know,
You never saw it?
no. But I mean, I would be interested to see it. I kind of
Yeah.
forgot it existed.
You forgot it existed.
The TV series, yeah. Well, also back around that time, I wasn't watching TV, so like I
Well,
had
let's
kind of
see.
stopped.
I'm looking it up here. According to IMDb, Shao Kahn wants to add Earth to his growing collection of conquered realms known as Outworld.
Mm-hmm.
Kung Lao and his compatriots defend Earth, gotta defend Earth, against the forces of Outworld in Mortal Kombat, a
Mm-hmm.
tournament based on honor and tradition. Of course, we know that.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's a tournament in Mortal Kombat, including it itself. Characters from the video games that appear in the series include Scorpion, Sub Zero, Reptile, and Goro.
Cool.
As you can probably guess, it didn't last very long.
Well, that's too bad. How was that? One season at least?
1998 to 1999, so I think two seasons. One, two seasons? Yeah, two seasons.
Oh, so they got a second
I
season. That's
think. No,
lovely.
one season. It just took 2 years for this. It started at the end of 98 and ended in the beginning of 99.
I've got a little notice that says remaining meeting time 9 minutes and 33 seconds.
Yeah, and what's your point?
I wasn't sure why
No,
it said that
no,
because
it does that because we got the free version, of course. You know.
I have unlimited Zoom, so I should
Do
probably Zoom.
you?
I
That's
should probably.
weird.
Well, I paid for it. I have
Oh,
some
did you?
subscription. Yeah.
All right, so let's talk more about Mortal Kombat, and then we'll take a
Okay.
break.
Mm-hmm.
We'll take a break, and
Okay.
then we'll finish with the Tyson Saner review. But before then, let's tease everybody about the movie that came out a couple years ago. Before
Mm-hmm.
we give you a review, let's go over the movie, and then we'll come back with the review. Does that make sense? We'll briefly
Okay.
talk about it,
Okay.
and then we'll leave them on a cliffhanger to come back after the ad for your review. So it was a reboot, totally different brain trust from the first two back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Director, I guess this guy did commercials or something, is what I read. I don't know. He's like Australian director, they said.
Really?
And yeah, they said that that's what I read, that it's basically like his first, like it was like his first feature like film, like huge film.
That makes
And
sense. Let's see here.
yeah. And there's
Signing.
also a sequel in the works of the one that happened 2 years ago. Do you know that?
I had heard that, which is good because
It got greenlit, I think.
I'm gonna say I didn't hate it. I think that it.
Well,
Huh?
let's wait for your official review after the break.
Mm-hmm.
This is a good time to take the break. Tyson, I'm going to take a break, like I
Mm-hmm.
just said,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll be right back with the ending of the Mortal Kombat podcast with the one and only Tyson Sainer right after this. Hey, everybody. I hope you are enjoying this interview. Please check out bonfire.com. That's where the Sensibly Cynical merch is located. WordPress, check us out there. Please subscribe, rate, and review Sensibly Cynical wherever you get your podcasts. Instagram, Sensibly Cynical Pod, and Twitter at Cynical Sensibly. Now, back to the podcast. Enjoy. And we are back for the dun 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 Tyson Saner Mortal Kombat review.
Hi.
So Tyson, tell everyone what you thought of the 2021 Mortal Kombat movie.
I didn't hate it. As I said earlier, I thought it had a lot of interesting things going for it. It's a great looking movie. The special effects are really good. It is darker in tone than the original film. Is like one thing I forgot about the original film was how funny it is because I made sure to watch it like right after watching the new one, and yeah, it's the tone is much different. It's a much more serious movie. The effects again are quite good. The Sub-Zero effects, the ice stuff, like ice forming on things, looks great.
Mm-hmm.
Goro looks great. I mean, Goro actually, as a puppet, Goro looked really great back in the day too, but Goro looks even better now. The amount of blood is more like the newer games, like the fatalities or that are more explicitly graphically violent, like the game. And
Mm-hmm.
surprisingly, it's actually fairly little graphic violence in it. There's it exists. There's a lot of punching and kicking. So that's but like there's like it's not. I don't remember it being as much blood as people seem to make it out to be. I think the thing is that it is a mainstream film that people went to see who may not have as much experience watching movies with blood and gore in them as I do because I
Right.
like horror movies. So I have a different threshold,
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, I could see how well there's a couple effects in there specifically. They're like, oh, that's right out of the game, and that is gnarly. Uh, you know, I won't say what it is specifically, but it does involve a character, Nitara. Do you remember Nitara?
Vaguely. Can you
Nitara.
explain what she looks like? What the character looks like?
She is a vampiric character with wings. She has big leathery wings, and the rest is just kind of
She goes
a
back to the
yeah.
original?
No, no, she goes back to like Natara. When did Natara get in there? Was she a Deadly Alliance thing? It's possible
I
that
don't know.
anyway,
But
but she is in it, and yeah, let's see. So oddly, whereas the original film focuses on Liu Kang as a main character,
mhm.
um, Liu Kang, as far as I can remember, yeah, Liu Kang doesn't show up until much later. He's not the main character in this film. In fact, they've created a new character to
Really?
be the lead. Yeah. However, many of the original characters are in it as well as
Hmm.
supporting for this new character.
So if you were an official reviewer for like, let's say Rotten Tomatoes,
Hmm.
would you give it a tomato?
Yeah, I will say that the plot is kind of hard to follow at sometimes, so that tends to take points off. I can't give it like 100. I don't think I can give it a 90. I would give it definitely a solid 75 to 80, somewhere in
Well,
there.
that's a tomato, right? I forgot what
Yeah,
that scale
it's a
is. The
tomato.
scale is like 60 something.
I think you have to be over 50% to be tomato
Is
at
it
least.
50? Oh
It
man,
might be 60. It might
they
actually be
need to
60.
upgrade their standards.
Yeah,
But I think it is 60,
it's got to be.
I
Yeah, because
think.
6 out of 10 isn't like much to brag about. It's like
No,
six, six.
no, I know. There's some Adam Sandler's movies. I'm like, eh.
I mean, I haven't seen them all. I got.
Uncut Gems is good, his newest one.
Oh, that
But
looks
you
good.
said, yeah, you said that you watched the original, right?
Mm-hmm.
For this.
I rewatched it. Mm-hmm.
So talk about what the rewatch was like
The rewatch
when
of
you
the original.
rewatched.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the original movie is actually pretty fun. I mean, it holds up. It is funnier than I remember. Or I should say, I had forgotten that it was funny.
Yeah, I do remember it being funny. Yeah.
It was great to see like Christopher Lambert again because I haven't seen him in a while.
Hmm.
Actually, I don't know if they're ever going to do another Highlander movie, but like that's what I knew him from. It was
Right, sure.
sure, and there's a whole thing through those movies. Um,
Oh, that'd be a different podcast. It'd
yeah,
be a different
I'd
podcast.
have to rewatch some of the stuff, and then I'd have to watch
No,
TV
no, no, no,
series.
no.
Um,
This
oh, sorry.
we could do a small podcast on Double Dragon, though. I think that would be interesting. like a 30-minute episode on Double Dragon. I don't think you could do like what we're doing with Double Dragon. No offense to Double Dragon, people.
I've seen some of the
But
well, just fighting movies based on fighting games in
no, but I'm
general are
saying an
going to be
episode
interesting.
just on Double
Just specifically
Dragon.
just on
I
the
don't think
game and
it
the
can
movie.
make it. I don't think it can make an hour. It could be a good 30-minute podcast, though.
Sure, sure.
Let's do that sometime.
I'll see the movie again. Actually, when I say again, I mean I'll see the movie all the way through this time, and then I'll have something to
Next
say
time
about
you
it.
come on, it'll be about Double Dragon. We'll talk about Double Dragon
Okay.
because that was one of my favorite games growing up, man.
I definitely played that one in the arcade as well.
But
Hmm.
so
And at
how
home.
long was so back to Mortal Kombat, the original? How long was that movie?
How long was it?
What's the runtime? Yeah, what's the runtime?
That is a great question. Let's see here. It
Well, was it too long? Was it one of those that was like dragged on, or was
oh
it?
no, it moves along pretty well. It doesn't, it's just it's so strange as a it's like it's all over the place geographically. It has the plot kind of like there's in parts is very reminiscent of Bruce Lee's Enter the Dragon, like
Right.
because there's
Okay.
the tournament happens on a island somewhere, just like in Enter the Dragon, which was probably one of the big
Yeah.
inspirations for the game in general and in Bruce Lee in general, and one-on-one
Hmm.
fights and things. What was the question?
I said, well, we're talking about the runtime,
Oh, the
right?
runtime. Well, I think it was like an hour 40. Let me look. I can look it up. Uh,
So back then, that was pretty long, though, right? Weren't movies weren't really long back then, were they?
um, back in 1995. Well, 3 hours was pretty long, and that was like how long? Like I think there was a 3 hour cut of The Abyss around that time. James
Mm.
Cameron tended to make long movies. So let's see. Oh, okay. Well, but interesting to know. So no, it was only 101 minutes. So like an hour and 41 minutes. Yeah. So not terribly long. Is definitely not 2 hours. Uh, it was made for $20 million, that movie,
Wow,
and
that's
its
crazy.
its box office was 122.2 million.
Hmm.
So huge success. It was Paul Anderson. It's listed here, but that's Paul W.S. Anderson, director of
Hmm.
The first Resident Evil film and some of the subsequent films, if not all of the Resident Evil franchise with Mila Jovovich. So and Event Horizon. So he's got some films he's made.
So last thing I'll mention.
Sure, yeah.
Do you think I spoiled the final battle,
Of
the new one,
by saying
when I said who was in the final battle?
nah, I don't know if it's a spoiler. It's hard to say. It's
I felt bad about that. If you listen to the first part, which I know you did,
I
people
think
came back for the ending. I'll just leave it at that. So there was an MMA fighter. It's about an MMA fighter, right?
oh, he is yeah,
The new one,
he is
yeah.
he is kind of a yeah, he's a
I
fighter.
don't know what I can and can't say
He
for the spoiler people. I don't want to piss people off
he's
here
he's
listening.
not an official
So if
MMA.
you are
Oh
wanting
no.
to listen or wanting to watch the new movie, turn this off.
I'm sorry, he actually was an MMA fighter, the character. Yeah, Cole Young
Yeah,
is his
yeah.
name. Hmm,
I
hmm.
already told people to turn it off though
Yeah, that's fine.
before they continue. I don't want to spoil the
So
podcast
you heard
or
me
the
said turn it
movie.
off, people. Why are you still listening? What's wrong? Sorry.
Tyson,
Yeah, well, I mean, no, wait,
any
don't go anywhere.
last word on Mortal Kombat?
You know,
What it means to you? The floor is yours.
it's just a fun time. It was an extremely controversial game when it first came out because of its level of violence, and it probably helped the video game code kind of come into place where people were like starting to worry that video games were becoming too violent, and I think as long as a person has the ability to know what is appropriate and inappropriate behavior, it's not going to create a problem. I think that's the whole thing. I think it's just a portrayal of something. Movies have been violence in some form or another since I don't know, since that the monster
Mankind.
thing picked up the guy by his head in the old stop motion
Yeah,
film.
like
It's stuff.
I do remember that being a huge thing though back then, is that parents and people would get like there wasn't internet, like wasn't huge back then.
Mm-mm.
So it was on the news a lot that about video game violence. Like that's the newspapers would even talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And like it was a big thing. I remember my mom was like really against me playing it back then, but of course I'm gonna do it anyways.
Mm. I mean, that's the thing. That's the,
Sorry, mom, if you're listening. She listens sometimes.
you monitor what your kids do. You take an active role in being
She
a
did.
parent.
I didn't
That
like. We didn't do anything crazy. Like we just played a video game. It's not,
sure, yeah.
it's not our fault. We didn't make it.
We didn't
We
start
just
the
wanted to
fire.
be. Yeah, we just wanted to be cool.
It was definitely a cool series. I mean, there
It
was something,
was.
it
Finish him.
finish him, and fatality, and
Finish her.
yeah, oh, finish her. Then there was a
Yeah,
flawless
that
victory.
yeah, the one with the six or the four arms or whatever that chick was. She was such a badass.
Shiva, yeah, she was.
Yeah, Shiva was such a badass, man.
I think she was the same of the same as
I
Goro.
would destroy people with her.
Well, she had the, she could like, I think she could pick you up with two arms and
Yeah,
hit you
and
with the
like
other two.
slam the bleep out of you, bro.
Oh, and then she had that jump. She'd like go whoop, and
Yeah.
she'd just disappear. And then the
Whoa.
next thing you
And
knew,
then
she's on top of you.
and after it's over, she would still do it. Like you know how they after they win, after Shiva won,
Mm-hmm.
she would still do the movements after it was over.
Still be jumping on you
Yeah, yeah, this shit was awesome.
like a Dark Souls character. That happens in Elden Ring too. Something comes up to you and just kills you, and then you dissolve, and then the thing is still like, "Hua, hua," and
But
then they're like, "Oh, I
no
guess I'll
one's
walk
as
away."
cool as Sub-Zero though. I'll fight Sub-Zero against Liu Kang anytime.
I mean,
But
he's
most
he's
people
icy.
listening to this are going to pick Liu Kang over Sub-Zero, I would assume.
Bo Raicho was fun to play. He was Liu Kang's mentor, and he had drunken boxing.
Okay, I was like,
It was like,
yeah, 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 yeah. When they go like this and
mhm.
wait for you to finish them,
And then they go all over you, and he'd vomit on you.
always, yeah, in the ice. For my boy Sub-Zero, I did that all the time. Who did you play as the most?
The most probably Liu Kang, yeah. I'd say probably Liu Kang.
You played as Liu Kang the
Or
most?
Scorpion.
Scorpion
Yeah,
and
Scorpion and Liu Kang. I tried for a bit there to learn to play Jax. I'll tell you, on Deadly Alliance, I think I played Kung
you
Lao
didn't play
most.
as Kano. You played as Kano.
I definitely played as Kano. I mean, they do a story mode on these games, so sometimes you'd end up playing as multiple characters, and that would just be part of it. So you'd play for one character as a bit, and then it would switch off and be another chapter. Then you'd play as another character. So sometimes you got to play as characters that you never would have chosen yourself if you're just doing the tournament version from playing story mode. So that's good. And that carried on into like Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe. So one moment you'd be Kano, and the next moment you'd be like Green Lantern or something.
Yeah.
Weird stuff.
Tyson,
Yes.
this has been awesome. It's always great having you on the podcast.
Thank you. It's great to be here. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah. So, where can people find you on social media?
Start by going to www.tysonsainer.com because that's got all my links, including a couple of new ones, one to my Redbubble store and one to my TikTok, because I'm definitely on TikTok now.
Are you?
Yeah, I've been on there for a
Oh
bit.
my God, you're an influencer.
I'm not sure about that, but I definitely like the format. I like the filters, and I've had a little bit of fun. I do post game clips on there, and if you can spell my name, you can spell my TikTok account. But if you just go to tysonsaner.com, all the links are there, including my SoundCloud for episodes of Antisocial Show, and
That shirt. For those listening to the audio, Tyson Sainer is showing off his anti-social show shirt.
Yes, I didn't have an episode when I went earlier a second ago. And
Yeah.
for those of you who can't see, I didn't mimic the motions again when I made the sound. Anyway, sorry. So yeah, no, thank you for having me back. It's always fun. I enjoy the conversations about pop culture, and you're just fun to talk to. So
I appreciate that. Don't get my ego all hyped.
well, it's nice to be appreciated.
I consider you a podcast friend, so you can come on here as much as you want. I don't care.
Oh, thanks.
Since the way cynical is not going anywhere, it's like interview people. Downloads are actually, one of the people worry about downloads too much. It gives me something to do. I enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm thinking about close to getting some advertising, so that would be nice, but it's a nice hobby, I like doing it, so I'm gonna do it as long as I want to. Guys.
Might as well. Absolutely.
I mean, sometimes people take podcasting too seriously.
I mean, it's
I think so.
yeah,
Some hosts take it way too seriously. But that's just my opinion. I don't want to stand in my soapbox at the end of the podcast here.
it helps to have fun.
But yeah, always fun podcasting, especially with you, Tyson.
I appreciate that, Sean. I have a good time with you as well.
Uh Tyson, always a pleasure. Only figuratively though.
Namaste.
Only- All right. Everybody, thanks for listening to the Sensibly Cynical podcast. We're on Twitter at Cynical Sensibly. Instagram is Sensibly Cynical Pod. Facebook, WordPress. Oh, where have you been on WordPress?
I have not.
WordPress is underrated. It's kind of like a blog type blogs. Oh, words.
Mm-hmm.
It's a blog kind of website
Mm-hmm.
where it automatically puts out links, and
Oh.
you can add blogs, like you know what I mean, like diary type stuff to it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it's neat. You should check it out. It started off as just like a literal blog website, and it's turned kind of into social media. Podcasters are getting into it. There's like a podcast category. It basically is just, it treats it like Twitter, where it automatically, like as soon as I put the episode up,
Mm-hmm.
it automatically goes to WordPress,
Cool.
which is neat. Which is neat. It syncs up to your, whatever podcatcher you use. In my defense, with all my words messing up, it is midnight my time. You always have me staying up late, but you're worth it, Tyson. You're worth it.
I appreciate that.
All right.
So,
Everybody, thanks for listening, and take care. See you, Tyson.
be decent to each other.
Yeah, exactly. Long and prosper.